Hey everybody, thanks for taking a moment to join us for a special pastoral update. In addition to our normal weekly update, we felt like it was important for us to make another announcement video or update video that just addresses the events that took place earlier this week. As many of you found out just through social media or the news of another horrific school shooting that occurred down in Uvalde, Texas. And like many of you, whenever I first heard of it, I experienced a lot of different emotions. The sense of just anger, of sadness, of grief, of even helplessness or fear. I think all of those are common reactions that we can experience whenever we witness something or hear of something like this. And then I think you have to process it through a whole nother lens here at Wedgwood. As a church that experienced a similar type of tragedy now coming up on 23 years ago in our own history, these type of events can really open up some old wounds and some old hurts. And it's something that as we continue to hear more of the news developing and we hear more of these stories, it reminds us of our own past grief and tragedies as a church. And so it kind of begs the question, well, what do we do with all this? How do we process all of this? And I think, like many other people out there right now, they're encouraging us to pray. And I think that's absolutely the right course of action as an initial step of responding to this situation, responding to this tragedy. It's important for us to pray, to ask the Lord to give comfort and healing to all of these families that have been affected, who have lost loved ones in this tragedy, to be praying for God to miraculously give them grace and healing and comfort, more than any one person could give. But then to also just pray for the community as a whole. A small town like Uvalde, you can imagine everybody knows everybody. And so there's going to be a deep sense of just community loss and grief. And so we want to be praying for that town, that community. We also want to be praying for the local leaders as they navigate what to do next, how to respond, how to work to prevent something like this from happening again. And then that takes us to the national level as well. Praying for our elected officials. And we know that there's going to be all kinds of debate and discussion about these types of issues, and so we just want to pray for wisdom for all of those that are helping to make decisions and to do what is best for every American citizen, everybody in this country as a whole. But then I also want to encourage us to think about what we need to do personally about all of this. And I don't know about you, but days like yesterday and finding out about this shooting are just a reminder of how broken this world is. And unfortunately, it doesn't take long to begin to remember that we've had other situations. There's been other school shootings. There have been other church shootings. There's been other major, horrific, tragic events that take place in the life of our nation and throughout our world. And as you process all of those things, it can be tempting to despair, to, again, this sense of helplessness, of fear, of anxiety that begins to grow within us. And I think it's times like this, and I know this maybe seems a little disconnected, but I think this is a good reminder of the importance of our need to center our souls on Jesus Christ. That this is a good reminder of the constant need that we have to be abiding in Jesus, to be connecting to Him, to be spending time with Him, to allow Him to form our thoughts, our ideas, our understandings, to give our souls the nourishment they need, because there is so much brokenness around us. And if we are not abiding with Jesus on a daily basis, seeking after Him, spending time with Him, our souls are going to be so full of anxiety and fear and restlessness. And that's just from hearing all of the kind of global, national, or state level stuff. That doesn't even include the pressures and anxieties we all may feel just from daily life, our own challenges of our own friends or things that are occurring within our own families and our own communities. And so I think it's important for us to, in moments like this, to be a little bit reflective of our own lives. We see that calling in Scripture that whenever tragedy occurs, there is this a natural tendency that I think that we need to have to not only look outward, but to look inward as well. And to ask God, what are you trying to teach me through this? What do I need to do in response to this? So that's my encouragement to all of our Wedgwood community, to in these moments of the aftermath of this event, to continue to be seeking after the Lord, allowing Him to give you a calmness and a sense of peace, to, as we'll look at this Sunday, to cast our anxieties on God, as 1 Peter 5 calls us to do. But then I do think there's an element of action as well. And this statement came from our very own Debbie Gillette, who was just reminded of how God used the shooting that occurred here at Wedgwood back in 1999 as an opportunity for Him to be glorified, as the gospel was able to go out in ways that we never expected as a church community, and how the people of Wedgwood were given the opportunity to be salt and light as they were able to express the hope that is to be found in Jesus Christ. And so that's my encouragement to you, is to follow the advice here of Debbie and to prayerfully ask God, how are you calling me to be salt and light in the midst of these kinds of tragedies? Because as she noted as well, the world's watching, the world's listening to people, to followers of Jesus. And so their hearts are tender, their hearts are broken, and the whole world is desiring and looking for hope. And so that's my encouragement to you as well, is that as you dig into Jesus, as you abide in Him, and as you allow Him to feed and to nourish your soul, that you're also asking God, what do I need to do with this? How do I need to respond? How do I need to be salt and light? And for asking for God to give you the opportunity to do so and to be bold in those opportunities as well. So again, let me encourage you to continue to be praying for that community. And then finally, I would say that our staff, our elders, we're going to be prayerfully looking for ways that we can show a tangible form of support and encouragement to that community. We'll have more information about that probably by this Sunday, of ways that we can work together to show our love and support for a community that's just so desperately hurting right now. And so stay tuned for that, but be open to what God may call you to do as an individual as well in the days ahead, as we look to be salt and light to our community. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday. We hope that you are able to process this in the days ahead in a way that allows God to speak to you, encourage you, and show you how He's calling you to live out as a result. God bless.